Come one, come all. Spontaneous views. Let's go through this incident that's been going on over the past week or so. DC plane crash.
I was reporting a CRJ and a helicopter crash into the Potomac River.
Advised there's a helicopter in the water. Been found by boats retrieving injured. They're looking for the aircraft at this moment.
Okay, so that wasn't much. Okay. I'm gonna have to find something else real quick on that one. But let's talk about this first plane crash when we're talking about the helicopter and the American Eagle airline jet 707. Well, that's the model of the plane. Let's just cut straight to the chase. There is no way that a helicopter if you think about a Black Hawk, like a Black Hawk has windows going basically around from the side all the way up to the front of the helicopter. Regardless if it's at nighttime or if it's in the daytime, there's no way that these pilots, I'm gonna get back to that in a minute, but was just traveling thinking that they wasn't on the same feet or height as this plane coming in, because the plane is descending. But again, we only getting one angle from the video. I'm just going to say it's either two things. It's either the pilot caught a heart attack or the co-pilots, both of them either had to been out of it in that moment, even though the helicopter was veering straight, like it never went off course or nothing. But you can't just tell me that they didn't see nothing. Like, that's just, like, I understand when they had this video, like, I don't know why it went off, but I thought they had more audio. I'm gonna have to find one. But matter of fact, I just want to go find something about, about what this is saying. And but anyway, it's either two things. It's either the pilot didn't know what he was doing. They heard the command saying, "Do you see this airplane in sight?" He said, "Yes." There was another plane that was actually taken off. Now, I don't know if they have verbiage as to say, if do you see this target from an ascending point of view or a descending point of view? Like, before, when he asked that, like, I don't know the verbiage that they have when he said he's seen him in view, because that can happen. You can have a plane coming in for landing, and you can have a plane ascending, taking off. So there was no verbiage with this command sender person when he was talking to the pilot. Or the other reason is, the reason why this helicopter just went straight into this aircraft is that it was remote controlled. Me looking at the two choices, I would have to go with the second choice. Unfortunately, because that will mean this was deliberate. It was done on purpose, which it was. Now, I'm gonna try to put two and two together. This is just from the little information I gathered this weekend. And I put two and two together on my own because it makes more sense. This is going to tie into the Philadelphia plane crash, alleged. Well, I'm saying alleged, even though that's what they're reporting, but I'm just saying. Me personally, I don't know what that was, but let me stay on the DC one for a moment. Again, I don't see a plane crash or a helicopter, Black Hawk, just colliding with the you know, colliding with the airplane. Hold on, fam. Let me look at something real quick. I'm still working, by the way, so that's why I gotta. But I want to just look up something real quick.
If you want to boost the fat-burning
They were saying
metabolism,
that they
take cayenne pepper extract.
they were saying that they were saying that they had found more bodies from the Potomac River. I mean, that's interesting, because they said it was a strong undercurrent. That was the first reports that they were saying. So I would like to know where did those bodies, where they were found. I know they're not going to show the bodies, you know. So again, it leaves the public in a gray area where we're trying to understand. Like someone like me, like I'm trying to put two and two together. Like that's just not a coincidence. Let's just be honest. Certain things are coincidence, certain things are not. You know, let's hear this.
The vast majority of the D.C. plane crash victims. That's the deadliest air disaster in the United States in decades.
WGN's Brona
Decades,
Tumulty
wow.
joins us now from a newsroom with details on that salvage process. Brona.
Good evening, guys. Yeah, 55 of the 67 bodies have been recovered amid the wreckage.
55 bodies have been
vowing today
discovered.
to find everyone lost in the crash and bring them home to
57 bodies have been recovered out of the 64. That's good. They're not identifying these bodies that supposedly got rescued. And to be honest with you, they're not going to tell us what the names of those people were, because this is going to have to tie into the Philadelphia plane crash. And this is all alleged. But the reason why I'm saying that is because I don't think they're not telling us, just to make it simple and plain, they're not telling us who was on the airplane. I mean, they told us about the figure skating team. They told us about the parents, I think, that was there with the coaches. They didn't make up the full amount on that plane, supposedly. At least that's what, because they obviously said it was a plane with 64 people, including staff. So I don't think it was 57 figure skaters. You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that. I think that at the most it was probably 20 to 30, half the plane, if that. But and it probably wasn't even that amount. But that's not the point that I'm making. I don't want to veer off. They're not going to tell us the names of it.
to their families.
I will say that they are a strong group of families that are focused on getting their loved ones back.
Grieving family members making their way to the shores of the Potomac River Sunday morning, the site of a deadly mid-air collision Wednesday night between a Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines passenger plane. In total, the crash claimed 67 lives.
So far,
67.
55
I said
victims
64
have been
was 67
positively
lives.
identified from this aircraft, or from this accident.
The remaining 12 victims are still being searched for.
We do have a process where we
So
will
we got 12 being searched.
watching the
Now they're saying that's 12 still need to be they're still searching on them. I'm gonna say even if they recover the 12, they're not gonna. They are what they're doing right now, and this is very unfortunate. But this is a diabolical system that we're working against. So you have to just keep it real. They're drumming up a story that's gonna eliminate or hide what really happened. Because keep in mind, they're not even really talking about the passengers that was on the helicopter. They only identified one pilot, but they said it was 3 people on board. Hello? Where are the other 2 soldiers? How do we know that they didn't parachute out before that even happened? That could have happened. All I know is when that helicopter hit that plane, there was nobody on that plane. There was nobody on the helicopter, I mean. That's a fact. That's a fact.
The lift as it happens, and then if there are remains in there, that will not move while we're recovering the wreckage.
Dive teams have been surveying the wreckage underwater, crafting a plan
Keep
to
in mind, they
raise
said it's
it,
only
which is
8
expected
feet
to
deep,
start
but
at
that's
first
what,
light
at least
on
that's the last
Monday.
report that I heard. They said it's only 8 feet. That's not a lot of water.
As much as we can.
You know what I'm saying?
Given the fact that we are also accounting for the human remains component.
Numerous questions remain about how this could possibly have happened, with the president blaming DEI policies. Newly minted
Now, pause real quick. I don't understand what Trump is talking about with the DEI policies. What does that have to do with anything? Like, how are you connecting that? Like, that was, but to me, it means more than what we're thinking about it. See, that statement to me, that's a statement of wanting to gather emotion. And sometimes you can't be that emotional when it comes to certain things. So you kind of be like, okay, let's see what the true meaning of what they're talking about, or what he mean by trying to incorporate the DEI in this particular situation. Like, it makes no sense. So we shouldn't even feed into it. That's the point. Again, we have to stop working off emotion and start being more literal and use critical thinking when it comes to things. They keep trapping us with the same rhetoric, and we keep falling for it. We have to stop falling for it. Like this whole situation, the people that perished, my condolences. But this was all orchestrated. Now, I'm about to finish this up, and I'm about to go to this Philadelphia one before I close this video out.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy stopping short of endorsing or rejecting that notion when quizzed about evidence to support it, instead claiming the Biden administration simply didn't prioritize safety.
Last administration.
It's this, man. All I got to say is this. To put it in a nutshell, there was somebody on that plane, that American Airlines plane. There was somebody on that plane. From the early reports that I heard, that I've been kind of surfing through YouTube. You go to a lot of sites, and you got to kind of like put it together. Like, you know, some subscribers that you're subscribed to that could kind of get information that you could kind of fact check. But anyway, I think ultimately there was somebody on that plane that was going to meet at a CIA meeting, and that Black Hawk helicopter was instructed to collide with that plane. Remote control. I'm going to say this again. I do not think anybody was on that helicopter. Look it up. DARPA, DARPA. They have equipment where they've been doing this for years. Again, we have to understand too, technology is like what we're going through is like, we're duplicating what's already been done. We're like on one giant cycle when it comes to information. The point I'm trying to make is the government, they already got all kind of technology. They're light years ahead of us. Well, I hate to use the word light years, but let's just say they're at least 20 to 30 years ahead of us when it comes to technology. All I'm saying is that look it up. This is not easy. This stuff is not easy to look up. We just refuse to do it. And then when we do it, we don't want to feel like we're outcasting ourselves when we're because you know something in you is telling you that, well, maybe a lot of people, maybe they don't have that. But in me, it's something in me that's like, you know what, that something ain't right about that. Like, let me go check on that and let me see what's going on. But I don't know, man. Just to conclude, I'm gonna try to find one more piece before I go to the Philly one, because this video is getting long already. Matter of fact, I could just go to the Philly one. But that's basically how I feel about that. At the end of the day, I feel like there was nobody on the helicopter. And there was somebody on that plane that they didn't want to land in DC. Something was going on. Let's go to the Philly supposed plane crash. Again, my condolences. But these people work with numerology. And the numerology that they work with is 3s and 6s. This is, again, we have a six passenger plane, a medical plane. Apparently, they just left the scene. Let's I'm trying to find something here. Let me just get this bear with me. One moment, family. One moment. Man, I wish I could show the hole in the ground. And that's the whole point that I'm trying to make on this. You know, did that sound like a plane? Oh, let me rewind that for y'all again.
New details about that deadly medical jet crash in northeast Philadelphia. Investigators
let me rewind that for y'all
cars again. And damaged homes for clues
while they try to fully
process.
Listen to this. That don't sound like no
Now at 11,
plane.
new details about that deadly medical jet crash in northeast Philadelphia. Investigators are combing through the burned cars and damaged homes.
But again, they're saying burnt cars, but you don't see any wreckage of a plane.
The latest on the investigation into what caused
and a plane
to go down.
Again, family, a plane is not going to cause a crater in the ground. Like if you can see this, due to copyright, I don't want to put this.
It happened just after 6 p.m. Not too
on.
far from the Roosevelt Mall. Tonight,
right by a mall. If you can see the crater that's in the ground, and what's surprisingly is that if that was a plane, that means in the hole, the nose or at least the front cabin should still be in the hole. Where did it go? How did it? First of all, for it to even be going that fast coming down, the acceleration should have already broke it apart. But it couldn't have broke apart because you're showing me a hole, which means that the nose of this plane had to penetrate through the surface of the ground. So where is the nose in the cabin in the ground? It's a crime scene, so you couldn't have took it away. It's a crime scene. You have to look. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the people that perished were still in there. Think about it. If you implode down on the ground, that means everybody that was in the plane, it were all going down. They all should have been in the same area. Why? Unless they jumped out. That's the only other way. People are saying it's a plane. I'm just going to keep it real. It wasn't a plane. It was a missile. They have missiles that look like planes. And to tie this all together before I conclude this video, I think this was a retaliation. Oh, let me fix my mic. Let me fix my camera. Let me get, because I'm about to conclude this. I think this was a retaliation from what happened with that Black Hawk and who was on that plane. We need to know who was on that plane, because I think that was retaliation from an organization. I don't know which organization. I'm just going to, let's just say they're overseas and they have, it's very cold over there. Let's just say that. And we've been in space wars with them for a while now. So you could put that together. But I think it was somebody on that plane that perished, and that was a warning to the United States, because that was a missile that was sent over here from another country. That was not a plane. Again, my condolences to allegedly who passed away in that, but they were from Mexico. And I'm here to tell you right now, it's no way that you can identify first of all, did they even tell you what hospital they came from? And it's too late now because now you can doctor up a whole story from that hospital now. That's what I'm saying. It's almost like the first 48. If you don't get the first time it happened and that next day, and it ain't even 48 hours, you really got 24 hours when it comes to information because it could change just like that. And that's exactly what happened with this story. Something happened, and I think that supposed plane that didn't land, that landed again.
Have identified
I'm just going to conclude
the mother
with this.
and the child among the 6 victims of that aircraft.
Oh, my bad.
That's Lisbeth Murillo Osuna and Valentina Guzman Murillo. One person on the ground was also killed, as 19 others on the ground were injured. Officials from the National Transportation Safety Board say the flight first departed from Opa-locka, Florida yesterday around noon. It arrived at Northeast Philadelphia Airport a couple of hours later before departing a bit past 6 p.m. It climbed to about 1,500 feet before plummeting back to the ground. The flight was headed for Missouri before continuing to Tijuana. We have team coverage on the latest developments. Action News reporter Brianna Gallagher has an update on the injured victims. Katie Castro spoke with witnesses, and Brianna Smith has the latest from officials investigating this crash. We begin with Brianna.
Wix gives you the freedom to tell your story with a professional website.
Forgive me, family. I got
that
this
reflects
ad
who
going.
you are.
But forgive me real quick. I want to show y'all one thing.
The NTSB classified the crash as an accident, and you can see flashing lights behind me. First responders and experts from the local to the federal level have been on the ground for more than 24 hours now, searching for more potential victims, assessing the damage and collecting evidence. The NTSB says this could take days, even weeks, for this process. And right now they're on the search for the jet's black box.
The entire flight lasted less than a minute.
We have a loss.
So now they're saying it only lasted a minute.
I'm not exactly sure what happened.
This video
But the
shows
first
a massive
report
explosion
that
in a
came
busy
out
thoroughfare
said
after a medical jet crashed near
it
Roosevelt
was
Mall in
ascending
Northeast
up in the air at
Philadelphia just after 6 p.m. on
6:07,
Friday.
and at 6:12 it took its dive. It supposedly came down. Now they're saying it ain't even been in the sky, but not even a minute, and it went down.
The NTSB
Again, they
says
changing the
Learjet
story. They
55,
changing the story.
operated by Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, was flying to Missouri from the Northeast Philadelphia airport. The 6 members on board, including a child and her mother,
This
died.
record that
They've
they're
been
showing me,
identified
that's
as Murillo,
nothing,
Osuna,
family.
and
Y'all seen
Valentina
it, man.
Guzman Murillo. Shriners Children's Philadelphia says the child
Okay, Shriners
received treatment
Philadelphia
and was
Hospital. That's
headed
where it
home
was
to
at.
Mexico.
We mourn their loss, and they are in our thoughts and in our prayers.
Mayor Sherelle Parker says at least 1 person in a vehicle was killed and 19 others injured, but that number could increase as the investigation continues.
The city is working around the clock to keep people safe, to understand.
Okay. Look, listen, family. My condolences again to the family, but unfortunately, I don't believe them. I don't believe nothing that the government. I don't believe nothing that's going on right now. All I know is that wasn't no plane that was in Philly. And I'm going to top it off about saying where that American Airlines jet plane came from. It was Wichita, Kansas. Regardless if it was next to Kansas, Kansas City, Missouri, it was in Missouri. We already heard that it was from Missouri. So either way, Wichita, Kansas City, it came from Kansas. Excuse me. And we got this airplane crash in Philadelphia. And in about 6 days, we're going to have a Super Bowl with Kansas City and Philadelphia in the Super Bowl. And it just so happens that we have a American Airlines jet coming from Wichita, Kansas, and we had a plane crash that happened in Philadelphia. I mean, I guess you could say it's a coincidence. Come one, come all.